We're joined now by our chief Washington correspondent. He's also the author of this brand new book, Tired of Winning, Donald Trump and the End of the Grand Old Party.
We are pleased to welcome our colleague and good friend, Jonathan Karl. Always good to see you, man, and congratulations on your latest book.
Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about it. Trump is currently the front runner for the GOP, but let's go back a couple of years. You actually detailed his last days after he left the White House. What did you find?
Look, I have a chapter in the book called Dark Days in Mar-a-Lago. Donald Trump left as a disgraced former president. He was persona non grata even in the conservative media. I mean, Fox News basically stopped covering him, no interviews over there. He was kicked off Twitter. And he was in a state of depression. And they tried to find ways, people around him, to cheer him up. One of the things he was doing was DJing parties down at Mar-a-Lago. Literally DJing parties on the patio outside the main lobby at Mar-a-Lago, yes. So this did not look like a guy that was destined to come back and become a leading presidential candidate again, or maybe a president again.
You've been covering Trump for a very, very long time. What surprised you most as you were putting this book together?
There were a lot of things, but I'll tell you one thing that really stood out during this dark period after he came back. He became enthralled with conspiracy theories that you wouldn't think that that anybody of any stature would give any credence to. One of which is he believed that Joe Biden was going to get ejected from the White House, that they were going to come back. Suddenly the evidence was going to come out that never came out before, and that the Supreme Court was going to say, Biden, you got to leave. Trump is getting reinstated and made president again. I'm not talking after an election. I'm talking just between elections.
You didn't talk to him for this book, but you sat down with him for the last book that you wrote. You had a conversation, and a lot about what you guys talked about is making news right now in regards to the insurrection. Let's listen to this.
Yeah.
I was going to, and the Secret Service said, you can't. And then by the time I would have, and then when I got back, I wanted to go back. I was thinking about going back during the problem to stop the problem, doing it myself. Secret Service didn't like that idea too much. I could have done that, and you know what? I would have been very well received.
So this is being touted as big news. Is this new, and why is it coming out now? And what's the significance?
This is fascinating. The context here is I'm asking him about January 6th and the fact that he said in his speech that he wanted to go up to the Capitol. I'll be there with you, he said. Of course, he didn't go. This was in the interview that I did for my previous book, which was a long interview. This is where in the interview where he defended those that were hang Mike Pence. And I didn't think much of it at the time because I didn't believe him, frankly, that he really wanted to go. And then the January 6th committee happened, and I heard Cassidy Hutchinson talking about how the Secret Service had to really, in her vivid description, essentially like push him back and say, no, you can't go up there. So I learned he really did want to go up there. And what's significant here is he's saying that if he had gone, that he wanted to go up during the problem, so during the assault, not when he's speaking and there isn't an attack yet. This is during the assault. And he says that he would have been very well received. So it's an acknowledgement that those were his people up there and that they would have listened to him.
Well, let's talk about 2024 because he is the front runner for Republicans right now.
Yeah.
What would another Trump presidency look like?
I think this is beyond anything you saw in the first presidency. One key factor is that all of the people that were around him who tried to kind of steer him in a less self-destructive direction would be gone. So people like John Kelly, Jim Mattis, the White House counsel's office, people like Pat Cipollone, Don McGahn, names you don't know as well, who were around him, who, tried to steer him in a certain direction, in some cases actually defied his orders. They are all gone. I think that in a way, January 6th, which was the end of his last, of his presidency, if he comes back, that's the beginning.
John Karl. Tired of Winning is available right now wherever books are sold. Always so good to have you here with us.
Good to see you, John.
Thank you.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.